Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today we're going to be talking about this album by the Big O, Roy Orbison. This is Mystery Girl, released on January 31st, 1989. This was his 22nd album, and it was completed in November of 1988, 1 month before Roy left this earth at the age of 52. Now, this was a big album for Roy in a lot of ways. Roy had come back into people's conscious thanks to a couple of things. The David Lynch film Blue Velvet featured In Dreams, the song, in a very interesting scene with Dean Stockwell and crazy Dennis Hopper. Sorry, the name was losing me. And it kind of brought Roy back, but he also did this special that probably a lot of you have seen, the Black and White Night, featuring a lot of different musicians. Elvis Costello, T-Bone Burnett were featured on this thing, where it was a celebration of Roy's music. So Roy had kind of come back into people's conscious by this point. But in addition to that, he was primed for a major hit, and he got it. With the song called You Got It, which a lot of people know. It was Roy's last big hit. Now, You Got It was co-written with Jeff Lynne and Tom Petty. Jeff Lynne produced the track. And it was a big, huge hit. Another track of note from this release is the song She's a Mystery to Me, written by Bono and The Edge from U2. So the album was a big success, driven by those hits and driven by sort of the renewed interest in Roy's career. So he really went out on top. Had a huge hit. It was a number 10. It was a top 10 album in the United States. It was a top 5 album in the UK charts. It was actually a top 5 in the US as well. And it was the first album he did of all new material since 1979. And so, in addition to Jeff Lynne, Tom Petty, Bono, The Edge, a couple other big people were also involved with this album. Mike Campbell, always the ever-present Mike Campbell. But in addition, T-Bone Burnett, George Harrison, Jim Keltner, and Rick Vito were all part of this album. Now, he did, this came out, like I said, it came after kind of a run of very disappointing stuff. And so he was... Thanks to Blue Velvet, the film, and the sort of renewed interest in Roy, he also got involved with the Traveling Wilburys, along with George Harrison, Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, and Bob Dylan. And so he was working with Jeff Lynne. He was working with those guys at the time. So he started working on this solo album. Now, of course, the title comes from She's a Mystery to Me, and according to Bono, what he said was he woke up for a concert sound check, and he was listening to the soundtrack to Blue Velvet, and he had this tune in his head, figuring it was another Roy Orbison song, but he performed this for the other members of U2, She's a Mystery to Me, and they all kind of said, this sounds like a Roy Orbison song. So it's kind of a weird thing. Bono kind of half dreamed it, half knew it. And that was that. Now, when the recording was completed, Roy was very busy on the concert stage. And around that time, he told Johnny Cash that he had been experiencing some chest pains and he needed to do something for his health. And so he performed this show in December of 1988 and did this show in Highland Heights, Ohio, and then dropped dead from a heart attack. So we lost Roy. But this is a nice legacy. Solid production. It's very much in line with that sound. If you're a big fan of the Jeff Lynne sound from that period, the Wilburys and all that stuff, this is a nice companion piece. It's not just a completely brilliant thing, but as far as Roy goes, it's fantastic. It's a great song. Like I said, different producers. Roy produced a lot of the tracks, but T-Bone Burnett did a couple of tracks. Jeff Lynne, of course, and Bono did She's a Mystery to Me. and it's a nice celebration. It's a nice way for Roy to go out and to be remembered with such a decent album. So I give it a good thumbs up. I'm a fan of Jeff Lynne's anyway, so I like that stuff. So what do you think about it? Comment down below, like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. In the meantime, I'll see you all again tomorrow with another Daily Record.